Hello YouTube, today is another postbag video. I have 4 large parcels and we can see that it's taller than my camera mount that I use for recording. So I'm going to have to split this video up into 2 parts.
But before I show you this, you need to like my video and subscribe.
So now it's okay?
There's just one more thing you need to do, and that is to click on the bell so that you get a notification when a new video comes out.
I hope it's okay.
Perfect.
We can see on the right hand side these are Bitmain Asics. The left ones are slightly different. I'll do the non-Bitmain ones first and then I'll do the Bitmain ones in a separate video. Just a quick update on the solar. It says 2.3 kilowatt hours. However, I don't have any Asics running now. Most of them are at the data center. We can see on the solar panels I'm generating about 2.5 kilowatt hours, and it's resulting in a positive value on the energy consumption, and that's because the CT clamp can't measure reverse current, which means I am wasting 2.2 kilowatt hours of electricity. I'm not using them, so I needed more Asics. This shipment was in 3 parcels. The estimated delivery day was tomorrow. These 2 larger parcels arrived today. The smaller one I picked up on Saturday. Obviously these are Asics and they did come with power supplies. I'm not sure if you're meant to come with power supplies. These are different to the generic ones that I use, as I described in my previous video, that they've got the word power embossed on there. Power supplies are Bitcoin power supplies, branded power, designed to run on 180 to 240 volts, so it's not US friendly. The frequency is 47 to 63 Hertz at 9 amps. The 12 volt line is at 1600 watts, which is suitable for most Asics. There are some Asics that have a higher power consumption. It does say the maximum power output is 1800 watts, but you don't really want to run power supplies at its maximum. Today I'm going to open this parcel with this Antminer L3 IO board. There's no bag or bubble wrap around the Asic, it's just inside of its foam padding. And instead of being one piece on the left and one on the right, it's one at the top and one at the bottom. It is an Ant Bitmain. What did I buy? Google, what did I buy? What? And what's that in English?
Dayun Zig Z1.
Google said Z and not Z. This Asic has 4 hashing boards with 2 connections on each hash board. There's a power for the control board. That's a total of 9 PCIe connectors, 4 ribbon cables, 2 connectors for the fans. This looks quite big and heavy. Overload, which means it's more than 5 kilos. I forgot my uniform. On the bigger scales, it says 5.6 kilos. On the front, we've got a firmware LED, transmit, receive, fan error, and unit error. There's an IP report button, reset button, Ethernet port, and a USB drive. I'm just going to plug this up into a computer and see what it is. The brand on this is TechLast, and that could be an 8 gig USB drive. The USB drive has 2 volumes. We have one which is 40 meg and the other one which is unknown. It's most likely that the first partition is FAT and the second one is a Linux format which Windows cannot read. We have an image file, some other random files, an archive, an SCR file, and a batchline file, which I'm not going to be able to open. The miner is 29.5 centimeters, 18 centimeters high, and just over 14.5 centimeters wide. So it's wider than the Antminers, which have 13 centimeters. There's guards on both sides of the Asics, because you can actually put your fingers through the rear part of the fan if you wanted to. Just downloaded a random program and it says 3655 megabytes, so it's about a 3.5 gigabyte drive, unless if there's some hidden partitions. The software does allow me to mount the drive, and we can see a lot of Linux files. The news folder is dated 11th of September. There are some folders which are dated 7th of August. Opening the config.cfg, we can see that the password is admin. It looks like the frequency is running at 800 megahertz. There's 50 Asics, and it looks like it's got the CG Miner API built in, which uses the port 4208. It has a temperature cutoff of 90 degrees Celsius. This is strange. It says algo equals 2. Maybe you can change the algorithm to something else. It looks like it's been mining to a local pool. These power supplies are badly designed. The exhaust goes out the back, which you want to have the same as the Asics. The power connectors are at the back, but on the power supply they're at the front, so they have to stretch a little bit. The good thing about the final connector, even though the loop wire is short, the final wire is on a separate one. The room is quite quiet, around 10 dB. That's not going to boot without the USB drive. Silly me. I've done an IP scan. and there's an IP address that I don't recognise. I don't have any ASICs on this network. It does say minor config, so I should be able to open that.
From the config file we saw that the password was admin. The username could be either root or admin, so I'll go for admin, and I'm in. The user interface is a bit colourful. Nothing's going to update really because I've not pointed it to a pool, but we did see it was trying to connect to a local pool. So let's have a look at settings. Pools. This might be the same pools that were in the config file, I can't remember. You can choose the temperature in Celsius or Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit to be American friendly. It does look like it supports XN sub. I'm going to use NiceHash because it converts to Bitcoin without you having to convert it every day for a small fee of 2%. If we look at the hash rate, it did jump up at the end of May. It was around 4 terahash per second. There was a bit of a drop to 1.5 terahash per second, and then it did peak around 15, 16, 17 terahash per second. So this could be when they were doing their development. Then it dropped a bit, and then it's been slowly increasing between 10 and 13 terahash per second. Now these are good because they didn't advertise to the world that they're making ASICs and get people to pre-order. By doing that, that's a big mistake because then Bitmain will come in, get something in quicker and cheaper, and people will buy that to drag the hash rate down. But because this is an unknown brand and it's been dispatched already, Bitmain could play the catching up game to destroy this algorithm, or Bitmain might think, we're too late, so let's move on to something else. So I'm just going to copy this URL. I'll put EU as the first one, then USA, and I'll leave the last one also as EU as well. The pool username is the NiceHash address that you use, and for this one I'm going to use a different address to keep everything separate. You can leave the password as X. The frequency is actually set to 900 megahertz. You can underclock it to 500. Set the time zone to Europe. For the host name I'm going to call this Z101. I'm going to set the IP address to 49 because that's available at the data center. It's a bit strange. It looks like I can only do one change at a time on the same page. I'll have to update the second part again. You can see that the IP address is 192.168.1 dot something, so you'd have to set your home network to a .1 address. There is an IP report button. You probably have to find the software, but I don't have that. The IP address is changed to .49. It didn't take the settings because I pressed the wrong button, so that's one bad design. You have to do one section at a time. You can't update the whole page. Looking at the dashboard, or the widget on the dashboard, the core temperatures are 22 degrees Celsius. The last share on this device was 15.5 days ago. The page refreshes every 10 minutes. We can see it was used on the 11th of September for a short while. Give it a bit more time to refresh, and we can see it's hashing at 7.13 gigahash per second. There are some rejections, but hopefully that will fix itself over time. The cores are still at 20 odd degrees, which is a bit strange. NiceHash is slowly updating, 4.5 gigahash per second. Whilst we're waiting for that to continue, if we have a look at ASIC miner value, we can see that the Dayun Zig Z1 or Z1 is currently earning $70.54 a day, which is similar to the ASIC miner Xeon 180K, even though this miner is about 20 grand. The Xeon 180K has a competition with the Inner Silicon A9Z Master, Bitmain Antminer Z9, as well as the Z9 Mini, and ASIC miner's own 40K ASIC. We're now at 6.3 gigahash per second, and we can see that's $70 just for one machine, and we compare that to the machines that are on the other NiceHash address, which is 14D freeze, 5L freeze, an S9, 3M freeze. One of them has a dead power supply, so there's only 3 now, and it already earns a lot more than all these machines. I also have some GPUs on here as well, so there's a total of 24 workers. I'll get the other one powered up.
The power consumption is 1300 watt, very loud, so this is not going to stay in the UK. This is going to go straight to the data center. I've just cleared some space so I can set the next one up. We've only one of the Zig Z1s connected. We can see that the house power consumption is 800 watts on a 1300 watt miner. That is because the solar panels are generating 2 kilowatt hours. The second Zig Z1 is also at 1.100. So you can't power them all up, then configure them. You have to configure them one at a time. The hash rate is jumping up all around, so I need to check on NiceHash to see what the actual average hash rate is. The core temperatures are still quite low. The air at the back of the ASIC isn't hot. I've just found a problem. The rack shelf is 19 inches, including the ears. To be safe on a rack, I think I need to be about 17.5 inches. The power supplies are too big. What I might have to do is swap the 2 power supplies with the Bitmain APW3++ power supplies. Those are 6.5 centimeters instead of 8.5 centimeters as these power supplies. Also, I'm now consuming 1.4 kilowatt hours with 2 ASICs running and a 1080 Ti graphics card. That's like running one of these ASICs for free.
If you've liked this video and found anything useful, leave a thumbs up. If you haven't done already, please subscribe and click on the bell for more notifications. And could you also like my Facebook page? And I'll see you next time.